Welcome back, Cordlings, to another Game Hoarder production. I am proud to present to you Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, Countdown to Doomsday. I'm going to be taking a different approach to this particular LP. We're going to actually do a video 0 where we talk about the lore and we go over the logbook, and I basically just read the logbook introductory portion. And then we, kind of talk about the different mechanics, things like that, and how this is going to differ from the classic 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons SSI Gold Box series that I just completed. Now, I'm going to do a video 0 and a video 1 of this, and then kind of put it on the shelf for a little bit while I finish up some older LPs, but I did want to get you guys excited and ready for Buck Rogers. So I wanted to do a little teaser, video 0 intro, and then of course we'll play for an hour and go over the characters that I've already created and all that good stuff. So and this has logbook entries just like the other SSI games, so I'll always be pausing and recording and doing that so that you guys can read along. It's kind of like my thing. I don't know if anyone else has copied me, but I was definitely the first person that started doing this. Alright, so here's the very first entry, the introduction, which took place from 1990 to 2050. Still within our time. Remnants of the old-time Soviet hardliners launched the space weapons platform Master Link. U.S. strategists send the American ace Anthony Buck Rogers to destroy Master Link. Buck is sent up in an experimental space plane outfitted with a new cryogenic system for high-altitude ejection. Master Link is destroyed, but Buck Rogers' plane is heavily damaged, and his frozen body floats in space. When Master Link is destroyed, the Soviet extremists fire a salvo of ballistic missiles at the U.S. The resulting conflict enters history books as the last gasp of war. World governments look in horror at the insane danger of escalating arms races and maintaining nuclear arsenals. Governments around the globe disassemble their war machines, and power shifts from the national government to large international alliances, such as the Russo-American Mercantile, RAM, the Euro Bloc faction, and the Indo-Asian Consortium. 2051 to 2100. The system states alliance forms to represent the 3 big power blocks and fringe Earth nations to help ensure the survival of a depleted and polluted Earth. Nuclear fusion propulsion technology allows mankind to move out into solar system. The system state alliance forms an organized effort to exploit the nearby planets. RAM, having the most clout, grabs right to Mars, while Luna goes to the Eurobloc and the Indo-Asians take Venus. Initial interest in the planets is for resources. True colonization is slow at first, as mankind both adapts to alien environments and adapts the environments to mankind. 2101 to 2400. Trips to the planets become commonplace, and terraforming technology has transformed the surface of Mars and Venus to more habitable for humans. Genetic engineering skills develop new life forms called genies that can be tailored to nearly any environment or function. In 2275, RAM, groaning under an increasingly repressive Earth government, rebels. Venus signs a non-aggression pact with Mars, and 10 years of war follow. Earth falls into barbarism, with her major population centers left in ruins and cut off from much-needed extraterrestrial resources. At the end of the war, RAM completely dominates the remains of old Earth. In 2310, refugees from Earth and others who are discontent under RAM domination begin a crash program to colonize Mercury. Asteroids are moved into orbit around the planet, and movable cities are built on the surface. Mercury develops an economy based on mining and solar power. 2401 to 2455. Mars and Venus, once forbidding alien waste, have been terraformed and now support populations in the millions. Bases have been established on Mercury and Luna. Colonies float in the edges of Jupiter gas clouds, and cities have been carved out of asteroids. RAM rules old Earth with cruel efficiency and an iron hand. Its brutal terrain combat genius roam and enforce the planet's exploitation. Is it Guineas or Jennies? Genies? I don't know. A daring band of rebels called the New Earth Organization NEO is formed to combat Ram domination. In 2456, the figure of Buck Rogers has been elevated to nearly mythical status by media hype. He has become a symbol at last. As the last martyr of Old Earth's foolish political struggle, in a strange twist of fate, Buck Rogers, the myth, is recovered alive from his frozen sleep. With his tactical genius and fearless daring, Buck Rogers joins Neo in its battle against Ram. Neo and Buck Rogers form a dangerous plan to subvert Ram control of the Earth. The cornerstone of Ram's dominance of the planet is Gauntlet, an orbital weapons platform originally constructed by the old System State Alliance. Gauntlet has been designed to act as a watchdog against nuclear weapons. Under Ram administration, the station was upgraded to both watch the subservient Earth and completely control all traffic to and from the planet. Buck steals a squadron of Ram's latest space fighters, a squadron slated for Gauntlet's defensive force, and attacks the station. The surprise attack is a success. Without Gauntlet, Simon Holzerheim, the head of Ram, decides to overt control of Earth is too expensive and orders Ram troops off the planet. The mood on Earth and in Neo is a combination of excitement and dread. The victory seems easy, too easy. It is now the year 2456. Earth is under the control of Neo, but the shadow of Ram is still present. Occasional attacks by Ram military are explained away as acts of over-anxious officers and unfortunate lapses of judgment. Neo scrambles to rebuild a shattered planet and build the forces required to fend off Ram attacks that it feels are inevitable. The team assembles. Buck Rogers, the name is everywhere. Buck fucking Rogers and Neo victory at Gauntlet. Vid at 11. The video network news people talking on the streets of Old Earth, even in the furthest asteroid outpost. Buck Rogers and Neo are everywhere. There is a feeling of hope now. After years of domination, Ram no longer holds Old Earth, and Neo is finally able to make a real stand against the corporate behemoth. Victories, real and exaggerated, boost Neo's confidence daily. Neo ranks are swelling with new recruits, young people who never before felt they could make a difference. Your team is assembled from those ranks. Each member has made his or her way to Chicago with plans to join the war against Ram supremacy. Each has visions of great victories, glory, and lasting fame, like Buck Rogers. We're now going to talk about the character races because unlike Dungeons & Dragons, which is very well known, these races probably are not. So I wanted to go over these. I thought it was important to kind of give everyone a diverse background and history on as much of the game as possible before we got immersed into the game itself. So team members can be of any 6 races, 4 human types, or 2 Gennies? I gotta decide what I'm gonna call them. Gennies, I don't know. Terrans, Martians, Venusians, Venus guys, and Mercurians from Mercury are all, in spite of some genetic engineering, considered humans. Martian desert runners and tinkers are Gennies, that have been bred to include non-human characteristics with the basic human genotype. Each race has unique modifiers to basic attributes, and some careers are limited to certain races. This game also is racist. But not really. Some people in some races are just better at doing certain things. Like, for instance, African Americans are really good at sports, if you haven't noticed. Terrans are the last of the unengineered humans in the solar system. While the other civilized races have undergone genetic adaptation to suit new planets and environments, the human population on Old Earth takes pride in their pure strain. Suffering under the yoke of Ram tyranny has taught the Terrans determination and patience. They get a con and wisdom bonus. Martians from Mars have developed under Ram auspices and the oldest and most advanced civilization in the older solar system. The Martians themselves tend to be proud to the point of arrogance because of the lower Martian gravity and oxygen content. Martians are slightly weaker than Terrans, but about average for other civilized races. They are good at dex and charisma. Venusians are a divergent lot. Venus has 3 distinct cultures beneath its billowing atmosphere. The Aerostaters float above the lands and make their living primarily as tradesmen and herders. The ground-dwelling Aphrodisians are farmers, miners, and shrewd traders. The dominant culture of Venus is the theocratic Ishtarians. They control New Elysium, Venus's only major spaceport. They get a con and wisdom bonus. Mercurians are unique and a rough mixture of cultures. Originally, Mercury was a site of a large solar energy collection station called Mariposas. I think that means butterfly in Spanish or something close to that. The Mercurian Sun King are descended from the original Mariposa owners and are quite wealthy. The Sun Kings are renowned for decor that is both fabulously expensive and totally devoid of taste. The remaining 3 cultural groups on Mercury are descended from the refugees that fled to the planet to escape the turmoil in the rest of the solar system. The miners inhabit large subterranean warrens shielded from the intense heat. The musicians are the Mercurian merchant class, and the desert dancers live on the planet's surface, continually following the shaded side of the planet. They get a Dex and Con bonus, baby. Tinkers were originally bioengineered to include attributes from small anthropoid species, such as lemurs and gibbons, to work in cramped spaces. They are very clever with tools and all manner of technology. They get +3 to Dex and +3 to Tech. They make great engineers and great medics. I wonder if we'll have a tinker named Claw. Maybe. Desert runners are one of the oldest of the bioengineered races, and they are bred for the savage marsh surface. Their original purpose was to care for the large herd animals that were seeded onto the planet during the late stages of terraforming. The desert runner engineering adds a mix of canine and feline attributes to the basic Homo sapiens stock. They can run long distances on all fours and fight viciously with their retractable claws. Desert runner claws allow them to do an extra point of damage if they fight barehanded. They are great warriors, rocket jocks, and engineers. They get +2 strength, +2 dex, +1 con, but they are a little bit ugly. Alright, so that's the races. Let's talk about the new classes. Or in this game, we call them careers. There are 5 careers for characters to choose from in Buck Rogers, and each career has a unique set of skills associated with it. Bless me. Minimum attributes are required for each career choice. For example, medic characters must have a minimum score of 12 in Dex, Intelligence, and Wisdom. When creating characters, the career selected first, then the computer will generate ability scores to fit. Some careers are limited to select races. Rogues, for example, can only be human. Each career has a set of career skills that the character learns while training for a given occupation. The first career is Rocket Jocks. They have what one 20th century author called the right stuff. They are truly at home when they are clutching the controls of some type of space vehicle. They pride themselves in their ability to outfly and outromance anyone in the galaxy. And too often, they're right. That's the bonuses and career skills they can choose. We have the good old warriors, which are the equivalent of fighters from the D&D game. They dedicate their lives to mastering the skills of combat. Even with the development of fantastic new weapon technologies, battles are still won and lost by men. Warriors train hard and study strategy and leadership in addition to combat skills. Special abilities: because of their rigorous training, warriors receive bonuses to the amount of damage they can withstand. Warriors can also attack twice per round with their fist, where other characters can only attack once. Warriors do 1 to 3 points of damage with their bare fisticles, where other classes only do 1 to 2. Every second level, warriors also receive a specialization bonus to a weapon of their choice. Weapon specialization bonuses can only be a maximum of +3 per weapon. We'll definitely have a few warriors actually in my party, so you will get to see all of their skills. We will also have a rocket jock, and we will have 2 medics if you're wondering what the party build out will be. I've decided on that because it sounds diesel. We won't have any engineers, and we will not have any rogues. Hopefully that's okay. From the research I've done, and I always do research before I start any of these old school games, it sounds like it's going to be a good fit. Engineers are what hold the world together. Without them, the artifices of technical civilization would crumble. Engineers aren't as cocky or flashy as rocket jocks, but they have similar arrogant pride in their abilities. Engineers love machines and fine workmanship. They prefer the company of a cranky ship's power plant to the hubbub of a port bar. Rogues live by wit, cunning, and oftentimes the misfortune of others. Rogues have talents for fast talking and bypassing pesky security systems. Because of the nature of their work and their ability to make lasting enemies, rogues who live to any noticeable age tend to have very fast reflexes. And last but never least, medics. They seem to be very popular wherever a team sees any action. When the warrior develops work-related injuries, usually laser holes, or the engineer gets too close to an engine that blows the fuck up, the medic puts them back together. The advancements of medical technology will never remove the need for human touch and healing. Medics learn skills such as treating wounds, counteracting poisons, and operating shipboard medical centers. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the skills, because some of these might not make sense to you as we go over them. Acrobatics, obviously balancing, juggling, avoiding falling objects, and other unusual feats of dexterity. Climbing, fucking climbing. Drive a ground car is the ability to use any small type wheeled vehicle. This skill is not used in Countdown to Doomsday. In other words, there is a sequel to this game, and what they did was they planned for some of these skills to help you out in Matrix Cubed, which is the follow-up. So even though you'll see that I put some points into these, that's not what I'm going to really focus on at first. So yeah, but we obviously we're going to take this party into the next game, so we don't want to neglect it totally. We want to go into the next game with, you know, a little bit of beef. A jet car, the ability to use any type of small jet-propelled vehicle. This skill also not used in Countdown to Doomsday. Kind of interesting that they did this. Hide in the shadows is hiding in the shadows. Maneuvering in zero-G. This is actually a very important skill in this game. It's used to move and work in gravity-free environments. This is a critical skill whenever fighting in zero-G situations. So if you don't have this ability and you're not good at this skill, your characters will incur severe penalties. So definitely got to have maneuver in zero-G on all, characters that you create. Move silently is moving silently, guys. It's not brain science or rocket scientists. It's neither of the two. It's just fucking moving silently. Pickpocket. That's when you walk up to someone, take shit out of their pocket they don't know, and steal. Don't recommend doing it in real life, but in this game, it's okay to do. Piloting a fixed-wing craft is the ability to fly a jet or propelled powered aircraft. This skill also not used in Countdown to Doomsday. Piloting a rocket? Piloting a rocket ship. This is actually used in this game. That's good. And the rotor wing craft also not used in Countdown to Doomsday. Using a jetpack. This skill can be used during combat if the character is outfitted with a jetpack. Probably gets you around quick. I've never actually played more than 10 minutes of this game, so I really don't know a whole lot about it. Tech skills. Bypassing security is a skill to trace and disable electronic alarm systems. Como operation. I'm assuming that's communication or something. As the adeptness with communication equipment, including repair and operation. Demolitions. Blowing shit up. First aid. Fixing shit up. We have jury rig. There's another name and another way of saying that, but it's not appropriate. It's a very valuable skill to patch together damaged equipment. This skill can be a real lifesaver during space combat. Prerequisites are repair mechanical and electrical of 10. Open locks. Guess what you do with that? I bet you'll never guess. Repair electrical is a skill to maintain and repair electrical systems. This skill is used to make field repairs to a ship after combat. So we have repairing life support, repairing mechanical, repairing nuclear engines, repairing rocket hulls, all obviously to repair those particular things, and weapons as well. We have sensor operation, which is the familiarity with this operation of sensor equipment and evaluation of sensor data. This skill is used to gather information about enemy ships and crew sizes during space combat. Moving on to medic skills, we have diagnose. It's the ability to determine the nature of an ailment. Life suspension tech is The skill to operate and diagnose potential malfunctions on life suspension equipment, not used in Doomsday. Treat critical wounds, treat disease. Treat light wounds, treat poisoning, treat serious wounds, treat stun paralysis. All pretty obvious. Intelligence skills, we offer astrogation. It's the ability to calculate courses, plot movement of astronomical bodies, and to sight on stars. Astrogation is used to find specific locations while traveling in space. Astronomy is a working knowledge of planets, stars, and other astronomical bodies. Prerequisite only. Battle tactics is the understanding of small group combat tactics. If a character makes a battle tactic roll at the start of encounter, the whole team will receive combat bonuses because they are better able to act as a unit. Disguise, learning to use makeup and a costume to assume a new appearance. Library search is a skill to ferret information out of computer library systems. Mathematics, 1 + 1 = fucking 2. Mimic is the ability to copy the vocal pattern and sounds of others. We have shit like navigation, which is a skill to calculate courses and effectively steer rocket ships on its trip. Planetology is the understanding of ecology, climate, geology, and hazards of planets. Programming is the ability to program both planet-side and shipboard computers. Charismatic skills, act. You can memorize and perform lines to take on characterizations. You can befriend animals. That's just basically petting them and giving them milk bones. Distract is the ability to successfully act as a diversion or to direct a victim's attention. Etiquette. That's fucking not burping and farting at the table, people. Come on, use your fucking head. Fast talk and convince is a skill to film flim-flam and get others to agree. It's basically manipulation. I use it all the time on women. Intimidate is the ability to create an aura of menace and danger. Successfully intimidation during combat will cause enemies to be taken aback while they decide whether to fight or flee or possibly even fuck. We have shit like leadership. It's a skill to give orders and see what they are carried out. Characters with leadership skill can, if they make a difficult skill check, take control of NPCs during combat. Leadership is good. Get lots of leadership. Sing, the ability to deliver a tune. La 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 la. Fuck it. I don't have it. I'm not quitting my day job. Wisdom skills. Notice. It's the skill of a careful, trained observation. Many times a character with a high notice skill will notice shit. Imagine that. Wrapping shit up here, we have planetary survival. It's a working knowledge of how to survive wilderness conditions on a variety of planets. You know, not just your own. You fucking podunk bastard. Shadowing. It's the ability to follow people in urban areas without being discovered. It's basically being a stalker or a creeper. Yeah, not recommended. Tracking is a skill to follow tracks and signs in the wilderness environment. Now we are going to talk a little bit about space travel, because this game has space travel. Before embarking on a space flight, the team needs to fuel up the ship and purchase services stores for fuel repairs. If you run out of fuel in mid-flight, you're fucked. Navigation skill check. A successful navigation skill check means that the pilot has charted an effective fuel-efficient course. If the pilot fails the navigation check, you're fucked. Astrogation skill check. An astrogation skill check is required when attempting to pilot the ship to a specific small body in space, such as an asteroid outpost. If the pilot fails to check the ship and must swing around for another pass to the same area and try again, you're fucked. On to astronomy class, because we know most of you bastards were fucking flipping through video game manuals and not paying attention. So, now the Game Hoarder has to teach you about the fucking planetary systems. Mercury, closest to the sun and possibly the richest planet in the system, Mercury gathers sunlight via huge satellites known as Mariposas. The sunlight is then beamed to the rest of the solar system as microwaves. This provides Mercury with its great profits. The wealthy of Mercury live on the Mariposas. Each satellite is uniquely designed with its own Baroque flavor and decor. Sorry guys, I'm drinking. Many of the rich enjoy dressing up in styles from ancient Earth. The Mariposas also have the largest number of holidays per year. 0 fucks given. Each one is an excuse for wild parties, parades, orgies, and dick-sucking contests. Most of the profits are controlled by an elite group of ruling families known as the Sun Kings. Presently, the Gavilan family and its allies hold firm control of the government. This faction is very pro-Ram, and much commerce takes place between the two nations. Other Sun Kings have different views, and political infighting is common. Other groups on Mercury include the musicians and the dancers. Their names derive from the fact that most cities on Mercury bear the names of famous composers. The musicians are the merchant class, well-to-do, but with little political influence. They are content, as long as the economy is strong. The dancers are nomads on Mercury's surface. They travel in great rail cities searching and exploiting mineral deposits. They are poor and generally discriminated against because they are poor. They are the backbone of Mercury for Mercurian movements. The faction goal is to isolate the planet from entangling alliances such as the current ones with Ram. Since the dancers are banned from the satellites which house the governing Sun Kings, they have little true power. Venus. God bless her heart, I miss her so much. The planet is barely terraformed. Normal humans can only survive unprotected on mountaintops and in the upper atmosphere. The lowlands are filled with guineas and genetically modified jungle. Okay, interesting. The creatures here are extremely dangerous, and the rain is so heavily laced with acid that it would dissolve an unprotected penis in very short order. The intelligent race of guineas, known as the Lowlanders, Jesus, inhabits this acid jungle. They are believed to be primitive and warlike. Some experts dispute this, since they provide the only known supply of gravitol. Gravitol is required to survive for long periods of weightlessness and is critical to space travel. The humans of Venus are allied with Neo against Ram. The Lowlanders are more neutral, and they'll sell shit to anybody. They don't give a fuck. Because of the Lowlanders' regular commerce and the undesirability of the jungle, it is relatively easy to slip a spacecraft under the planet, as the mini gravitol smugglers can attest to. Now let's talk about a little place called home. Motherfucking Earth. The homeworld of unmodified humans has been Ram's dumping ground for decades. Recently, with help from Buck Rogers, Neo has seized control of Earth from Ram. Now a Cold War exists between the two factions. Occasional incidents occur, but Ram blames them on rogue commanders or Neo infighting. Earth's cities suffered badly in the open war, but they're slowly being rebuilt. Above Earth is a huge junk belt formed from the detritus of innumerable space launches over the centuries. Most of this garbage is completely unidentified, so Neo often sends scavenger parties to investigate. At the heart of the belt is the space station, Salvation 3. Officially a scrapyard, actually this is the top secret base of Neo's military wing. Fucking don't tell anybody. The first rule of Neo Military Wing Salvation 3 Club is to not talk about it. As new recruits, your characters will be at this base station. Luna. For you morons that don't know what Luna is, that's the fucking moon. The Lunar people are strict isolationists. It is only through Ram's missteps that Luna joined Neo in the last open conflict. Offworlds are rarely tolerated beyond the spaceport proper. And then we have Mars, Ram's homeworld, which it shares with Desert Runner Guineas. Ram evaluates everything in terms of profit and loss. In fact, the Neo victory for control of Earth was an effort by Ram to cut losses on an expensive business venture. Humans, being fairly common, are rated at a rather low economic value. The Desert Runners inhabit the fringe lands and are ignored or persecuted by Ram. The Runners live in mud huts and often keep herds of hexadillos. Armed only with crossbows, they present little threat to Ram's objectives. Most of Mars' commerce flows through the Pavonis Space Elevator, a satellite tied to the ground by a huge elevator. So much fucking traffic passes through that undercover Neo teams use the facility for resupply. Asteroid belts. The asteroids are sparsely populated by the most independent groups of humans in the system. That's where all the gamers live. The asteroid miners as well. Many spend months at a time alone prospecting the many rocks. The many island-sized asteroids make the belt an ideal place for hidden bases. Both Ram and space pirates keep innumerable hideouts, ports, and research stations in the belt. Let's talk a little about the weaponry, the gear, baby. Bladed weapons, cutlass, and a cutlass supreme. It's a broad-bladed sword, favored by space pirates, duh. Kind of like, a little bit like a scimitar, curved blade, pretty badass. A knife, yep, you all have those in your kitchen, I hope. You got the mono knife. It's a knife made from a single piece of synthetic diamond. it will cut a piece of beef, no problem, like butter, baby. You have the mono sword. It's an entire sword made with the same material and construction as the shorter knife, and will cut a fucking human in two. We have polearm weapons, similar to the ancient Naginata of Old Earth. These weapons are sometimes carried aboard pirate warships for boarding. And they're about the size of my penis, 2.5 meters. And a sword. We all know what a sword is. Ranged weapons, we have the bolt gun. It's a miniature magnetic cannon. Metal bolts are accelerated down the length of the gun barrel by magnetic fields. It will blow your penis off. We also have the Desert Runner crossbow. It's just like an old school crossbow. And we have a heat gun. It's a weapon that evolved from flamethrowers of the 20th century. The gun has two tanks, one with compressed air, the other with highly combustible fuel. When the gun is discharged, a blast of superheated plasma is released at high velocity. The fuel recharge for these weapons is fairly expensive, and they are dangerous to use in confined spaces. Obviously. Laser pistols. Pistols that shoot lasers. Laser rifles. Rifles that shoot lasers. Microwave guns. A gun that shoots out an actual fucking microwave. We also have needle guns. Guess what they shoot at? Needle guns actually in this game are one of the best weapons, and so you'll notice that with all my warriors, I specialize in needle guns because they're quick, they're fast, they do good damage, and if you specialize in them, you can, once you max that out, I believe you're attacking 6 times per round. So we're going to be needle gun fucking fanatics. We also have rocket pistols. It fires a stubby, self-propelled, explosive projectile. Okay, I'm not going to say it. Rocket-type weapons are ideal for zero-G combat as they have no recoil. The projectiles incorporate a microscopic integrated guidance system, and they are actually able to veer up to 20 degrees from their original course. These so-called smart bullets can, however, be thwarted by an electronic countermeasure. Kind of like in Top Gun when you shoot out the shit out of the back of the jet to get the missiles off you. You know, you played those. Rocket rifle. It's a bigger version of the rocket pistol, y'all. Sonic Stunner emits a high-frequency sound that is tuned to the harmonic, resonating pitch of most nervous systems. It'll make you shit your pants. Let's take a look at explosive and heavy weapons. We have the aerosol mist grenade. For those people with bad BO, I'm going to throw one of these at you. We have the chafe grenade, which releases a cloud of metallic flakes and small strips. It offers protection from smart shells. We have the dazzle grenade. Releases a blinding electric discharge arc. Characters or opponents in the affected area who are not wearing protective goggles are gonna not see shit for a while. Explosive grenades, that's your good old fucking explosive ones. We have gas grenades. Those let out large clouds of fart gas. Stun grenades are similar to explosive grenades, except that the charge is smaller. The casing is designed to vaporize harmlessly rather than fragment. And it stuns bitches. We also have grenade launchers for shooting all the previous grenade types of ammo. Let's not forget the plasma launcher. It propels a canister of flammable jelly, minus the peanut butter, tipped with an igniter, maximum range 20. Rocket launcher, it's like a bazooka or anti-tank weapon. Between cooling and reload time, the rocket launcher can only be fired once every other round, but it can blow shit up. Then we have our battle armor with fields. It has the anti-smart shell electronic field. We have heavy body armor. We have breathing mask, ECM packages, protective goggles, and smart suits. I mean, this game has it all. This gear quality seems important to go over. The manufacturing capabilities of the planets vary and is reflected in the weapons and armor produced. The following summarizes the effective bonuses for the shit below. Standard weapons, 0-0. Martian weapons, +1 to hit. Martian armor, -1 to AC. Venusian, I don't know why I keep saying Vesuvian. Venusian weapons are +2 to hit, -2 to AC. And then I'm assuming this is second edition type rules where minus is better. Mercurian weapons are +3 to hit and -3 to AC. And Lunarian weapons are +4 to hit and -4 to AC. So Lunarian weapons and armor is the shiznizzo. I think. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Is plus or minus good for AC in this? think the lower the AC is the same thing. This has THAC0 to hit armor class 0. So, but normally you would say plus 4 AC. So maybe the armor's worse, the weapons are better? I don't fucking know, guys. We're going to have to find that one out. We're not going to go over the monsters yet because we'll talk about those as we fight them, I think. Maybe at the end of the video, when we fight certain stuff or as we're fighting stuff, I'll cut to the monsters in here and we'll give like a little excerpt on them. Now we're going to talk about the story so far. The events in Countdown to Doomsday can occur in whatever order a player wishes, depending on how he plays. You should have /she, he, she. Or you got to put just she's, because men don't get mad about this shit, only women do. However, the following order is recommended. The adventure begins in Chicago, where the team has recently joined Neo. As the team arrives for its induction, the Neo base is attacked by RAM troops and saboteurs who disable the anti-spacecraft missile system. The team must activate the manual control console to save the base. A RAM technician throws a grenade under the console. One character must throw himself over the grenade to muffle the explosion. Ouch, that hurts my tummy. After the base is saved, the team is assigned to salvage duty at a secret Neo base salvation. Soon the characters discover a derelict RAM spacecraft. On board is evidence of a terrible battle. While the characters are exploring the derelict, their ship is destroyed by an automatic weapon system trapping them. The team meets Scott.DOS, a RAM scientific program. Scott.DOS developed ethical problems with RAM's policy and wants to defect to Neo. Scott.DOS joins the team as an advisor. The crew of the ship was killed by ECGs, which mature into steadily more dangerous stages. The ECGs are quickly developing into their third stage, when they are be capable of terrorizing Earth. The team discovers that the Guineas are genetically engineered to be susceptible to argon. The team locates some argon canisters and hooks them into the ventilation system to poison the ECGs. Scott.DOS tells the characters that the ECGs were developed on RAM asteroid base, so they go to investigate. In the asteroid base, the team finds information about 3 RAM projects in development. The ECG is a deadly laser which, with large enough lens, would become a set of satellite lasers reflectors designed to focus the laser into individual cities of the planet. The team destroys the satellites and gains information about a test laser currently located on Mars. Am I reading like the whole game? Yeah, this is like major spoiler alert. Fuck this. All right, on to the game. Don't listen to any of this. Forget it. Forget it in your mind.